y'all.
Hey, y'all. We were just talking about trash.
So, good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
Welcome
good
to
evening, good evening.
episode.
I mean, that's all right. That's all right.
Episode 69 of the BGKH show with Dominion.
And Epic.
Exclusively on Vox Power 373. So, before we get into it, I got something that's about to change your motherfucking life. So I need you to open your mouth, need you to close your eyes and open your mouth. And I'm going to put something in your mouth that's about to change your life.
See, this is how
Just
really bad.
Close your eyes.
I just want y'all to understand
open
that
your mouth.
This is how a really bad 1980s porn movie has started.
Exactly. All right. So keep your eyes closed. Your eyes aren't closed, honey.
My eyes are not closed.
Your eyes are not
looking
closed.
up. Wait a minute.
Open your mouth. Your life has changed. There you go. Oh, no, girl, this one is yours. This is the one you bit off of. That's yours. That's yours.
So now you said something wrong with my mouth?
No, girl, but I don't. I can theorize where your mouth has been. And
and you gonna talk about my mouth? I mean, just because you got a lazy jaw.
Listen.
I'm just saying.
I'm a ray of goddamn sunshine. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So,
well, anyway. Lazy goddamn jaw.
So hold on, let me get a bite.
This is good.
So, this is called a butter bar. And it is from my new favorite store, who is not a sponsor, by the way. But
you can be.
They would never be.
Oh.
My new favorite store, Balducci's. Balducci's is one of those fancy, rich white people grocery stores where you they've got like a pre-cooked food section. They also have like a regular grocery section where you can buy expensive soap made from grass. Tide is like, a gallon bottle is maybe $10.99. This is like $40 for 6 ounces, some shit like that.
Sure.
But the pre-cooked food, because it's all like gourmet, is it. And this...
Girl, you gonna eat the rest of that, honey?
I'm going to eat the rest of it, but I'm savoring it.
That was
savoring
good. Balducci, I'm trying to remember do I remember seeing a Balducci's in Northwest, like upper Northwest somewhere?
No, there are 3 of them in the area. One is apparently in Manassas.
Okay.
There's one, not in Manassas. One is in like Tyson's Corner area.
Okay.
One is on Old Georgetown Road in Bethesda. And one is right down by the water in Alexandria.
So wait, the one in Bethesda, that's up there, that's going towards, what's that old mall? I mean, not the old mall. It used to be like a Dave
Democracy Boulevard and all of that. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. All right.
So, yeah.
She was cute.
So, I've been fucking these up.
How many you got left?
In this box?
What? That
None.
box is empty. But, bitch, how many you got left? Do I need to come by and, just...
There's plenty.
Visit.
There's plenty at the Balducci's.
That wasn't what I asked, honey. We know that, honey.
So, and you're welcome to go and get as many as you like from the Balducci's.
Well, I appreciate you giving me permission to go and get as much Balducci's butter bars as I can possibly get. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. See, this is how everything works.
This is what friends do.
That's how everything works. That's how it all works.
Yes.
Listen, BGKH, the blacks, the gays, the kinkies, and the humans, honey.
Right.
Listen,
and we're
here,
yeah.
right?
There we go. Okay.
So
how was your week? That's why I bought you the butter bar, to get your spirit right.
So let me just explain that while I was preparing to go out of town to Norfolk, shout out to Aphrodite and to K9, who came and met me. Had a really good time. Went to the damn Sushi King, which was actually pretty interesting. Like, I really enjoyed myself at this Sushi King place. It was really good. Like, I'm not a really big sushi fan, but I had a good time there. So anyway, and the company was there was great as well. Aphrodite was like a clown as usual, which I didn't really realize. And then
you didn't know that?
Oh my God,
she's a mess, honey. In the best possible way.
Yeah. I sent you that text message about the
mess.
Yeah, but so we'll chat about that. But anyway,
that was hilarious. I'm only gonna say that was hilarious.
Yeah, but so Anyway, that was a great time, and thank you all for coming out and supporting. Because I was happy to see some other people there. I was with my coworker who I like and I love to death. But at that particular moment, I was not in the best frame of mind. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
The moment I'm getting ready to pull out of my driveway, I was talking to my roommate. My roommate goes over to the mailbox and grabs some stuff out the mailbox.
Uh-huh.
It was this very thick envelope, and it was addressed from Philadelphia. And I was like, what is this?
With the bullshit.
I was like, what is this? This is going to piss me off. Well, to make a long story short, and I think I may have,
take as long as you need.
Because yeah.
Because I was mad on your behalf when you told me about it.
The long and short of it is, I got a letter from a family member, specifically my uncle.
Yes.
Who has gone to a lawyer to draft up a POA.
Power of attorney.
Over top of the one that I have.
Okay.
And revoked my power of attorney through this law firm that he's gone through. Now, I have several issues with this.
Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe?
I love my family, and I love the fact that
localniggasdolaw.com.
I love my family, and I love the fact that
we all
generally have
we got that girl that
good
graduated.
relationships and good friendships with people that will do shit for you.
But you
and
always
I don't know
there's that one chick or that one dude that graduated at the bottom of his class in law school. When I say the bottom, I mean in a class of 100, he was number 100. He was like at the bottom of his class, and he preys on your uncle's older, on these older people who don't really know the law, and like, yeah, I could just write another power of attorney on top of a power of attorney that you already got. Any reputable lawyer would be like, you can't do that.
So let me tell you some more.
Okay.
So I also believe that we have these friends that will just do shit that you ask them to do. Fine. And look,
like the local dude that'll do the law.
Let me be clear.
That'll give you the prescriptions.
Let me be clear. I'm never going to sit back and say that, I haven't had my run-ins with the law and people for whatever. I'm never going to say that. And this is how I was raised. This is what my family does.
Epic,
and this is what
the whole Epic family is shiesty. So just
hold on, bitch. I'm gonna come back to that. But in that same vein, I have a feeling that this is somebody that my uncle knows. And I mean, listen, whatever. I'm not. This is my thoughts.
And I say this because the Dominion family is shiesty. I feel like we are the unshiesty ones in the family that don't even fuck with the rest of the family because we ain't trying to get involved in that shiesty
I have to sometimes fight with my own shiestiness sometimes, but that's my own struggle. I do sometimes. I do. But anyway, so basically, this particular letter, and it was two pieces. It was the power of attorney. It was also some
Was there any
Maryland
misspellings in it?
It was a Maryland financial responsibility thing.
Not
only were there inconsistencies in the letter, in the power of attorney, because it said it gives my uncle, my mother's son, power of attorney. There was also a question about, and I don't even know if I should be talking about those, but I'm going to say all this. I'm going to say this in as general terms as possible. There's a question about who these witnesses were on this particular form, because
Boo Boo and Ray Ray from around the corner.
Well, Boo Boo and Ray Ray's sisters from around the corner. And the problem that I have is, A, you are not a notary, meaning my uncle. B,
so it's not even a notarized document?
She has never left the facility. And C, I remember when I went and had this power of attorney done, that I literally had to take my mother there with me to the lawyer and the president.
You can't
and
just
the
sign.
witnesses that were there were actually employees that actually came into the room after he sat with my mother one-on-one and asked her several questions to figure out what the hell was going on and where she was and whether or not she really wanted to do this. Then everything was signed. So, on top of all that, son versus uncle versus power of attorney versus I don't know who these chicks are from out of town, on top of the handwritten information on here, I done got pissed off. And this is what my drive down to Norfolk looked like.
And another thing, fuck all you
I'm
bitches.
sitting in the car with, again, my coworker. I like him. I can even say I love him because he's cool. He's very cool. But at that moment, at that moment, I really wasn't trying to hear him. And it wasn't just him.
Was
it
he talking
anybody.
some bullshit?
It was just anybody. Like at this moment, I just needed
silence.
Like just quiet. And I really got
Like
to the
you
point
was
where-
halfway about to be like, girl, here's a bus
Just
stop.
shut the
You need
fuck
to get
up.
all the way to Norfolk because I got to turn around and go back to Philly and handle some motherfucking business right now. I will be there in time for the meeting to start on Monday, but I got to go and I got to go right now.
And I literally had that because I had that thought after I got the text message from my little cousin.
Oh,
I
was
thought about
that the text? Was this another text message or the one that you showed?
I don't think I
me?
shared that. The text message that
What she told you? Said fuck you?
Yeah. Because I was
okay.
sitting there thinking to myself, because I picked the car up on that Friday, and I was like,
I could turn around.
I could just
get
roll
there.
up this motherfucker. I could roll up on her ass and just meet her at her door.
Say that shit to my face, bitch.
Like, I really was at that point, and I was like, so again, all of this happening on top of my mother already being in the hospital because she had a UTI and all this other stuff, and unfortunately, you know, she wound up, it affects her behavior and all different types of shit.
Listen,
because-
UTI affects you when everything is cool.
But the difference is with her, she wasn't able to express what was wrong with her, what she thought
Right.
was wrong. So then that kind of manifests itself in a couple different ways. So listen, there were anyway.
I
so
get all of that. You
I
don't
was
have to
pissed
explain
off.
it
I was
to us.
so
We understand.
pissed off.
We all know that your mother is suffering from dementia. You imagine a normal if you weren't feeling well and you could express yourself. When you can't adequately express yourself, you lash out. And so that makes it more
Listen.
difficult. So I understand.
So after being at the hospital with her
Right.
for the couple hours, and the woman had stayed there the night before, and I told her I was leaving, trying to go to work because I had something to do for work. Next, we got all that. I'm in the car, and you now sitting there, you just flapping your gums, and I'm like,
and then girl, and then he wouldn't show up.
And
he,
it-
you
it
know,
was-
I was gonna suck his dick, but he just keep talking
he
and talking
literally
and
was
talking.
saying
You know who this
nothing
is?
more.
Child, you probably would have stabbed him in the face.
But literally, it was nothing that he was saying that I really wanted to hear at that moment.
Right.
And it's nothing that he would have said in any other moment that I probably wouldn't have paid attention to because I just wasn't. But I was in this headspace where I was like, I don't even hear what you're saying. Like, I don't even, I was just like, and at one point he fell asleep and I was like, oh, thank God. And I was just like, just let me process. So.
Should have stopped at the bar and be like, how about you have like 10 drinks real quick?
Listen, my ass was rolling down. I had this motherfucking Chevy Impala, it was Chevy Impala. I was driving, which was actually nice, but the motherfucking GPS system or the screen was just garbage. Like you couldn't. It was so difficult to whatever. So I was just in a bad space. And so when I got there, I had to deal with the 94 participants that came up that I'm working with that
And
were
then
asking
these
stupid
bitches.
questions. They're asking me shit, and I'm just kind of like, y'all are making this more difficult for me, and I'm trying, and it's me. I realize it's me, but I'm just pulling away from shit. Now, I realized what I was going to do, which was contact my lawyer and figure out what was going on, the lawyer who actually wrote up the POA, and I kind of said to him, he had the same questions. Who are these people? What is this spelling? Why is this his son? What is this? And I was like, I expressed him. I said, I'm not sure if this is somebody, a friend or family, and it's the lawyer. He said, oh, no, I know the lawyer. I said, oh. Okay. He said, but did you read anything in here about anything other than this letter saying that something's been revoked, whatever? And I was like, from what I saw, it didn't say none of that. He was like, yeah, so these are my rates. This is how much I charge, and I'll probably need about 2 hours. And so when you pay that, I'll go ahead and respond. I was like, so on top of everything else going on in my life, I now have to do that before I leave. So my
For
week,
L.A.
exactly.
Because you're going to L.A.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Listen, we had this conversation earlier via text message. You have you know this, but y'all have no idea of how I am at this particular moment. Like, I am so looking forward to Wheels Up, landing, being around people that I want to be around, not having to worry about anything in that particular moment.
Right.
And then, on top of everything else, taking my fat ass out on a boat so I can sit in the sun like a pat of butter and just spread. I don't want to do, listen, there's one or two things I want to do. I just want to sit down and do nothing. I just want to disconnect, because when I'm on the water, guess what? I ain't got no cell phone service. I'm good. Like, I don't, look, what the fuck I need to talk to anybody about? I don't
Listen,
need to
with
talk
the
about
last
shit.
cruise we was on, my little brother was like, well, I'm going to get
Paying
in it.
for
How am
the
I going to
this,
be
that,
in
and
it?
other.
I was like, girl, I go on
not
these
concerned
cruises
about
so
that
I
shit.
can't be
I don't wanna
involved with
listen.
bitches.
So I'm looking forward to this. And so my week was just, and then on top of that, I had another program that we were dealing with at work that's now going to jump off tomorrow. And I was trying to plan with that. And I'm working with my boss, who is great at what she does. But she's that person that will just kind of say to you, So what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? What about this? What about this?
I got
What about
this.
this? And I'm like,
I got
I'm
this.
good. It's
This
like, what
ain't
about
the
this?
first time we've been doing
So we
this.
do this and that.
I
What
got
about this?
this.
What about that?
Have I ever not done
What
this?
is? And it's
I
all
got
these
this.
things.
I
And
got this.
in the process of me saying that, I did overlook something. I overlooked the fact that I was supposed to do something before I left because I was leaving.
And if you hadn't been busy answering her fucking questions, you would have got everything.
Not even that, but if I was in the office, because once I leave, because that's not in my pay grade, because for me to access my computer, my laptop, like that's not in my pay grade. I don't have a cell phone. I don't have, like, I don't do that stuff. Like this right here, there is nothing on here that says work that I'm ever going to access. You give me a work phone or work laptop, I will access whatever you need me to access. But this right here, no ma'am, we're not doing that. So normally in one of my checks and balances, because I go and check the system, do other things, I would have caught these things. But it's okay. As I'm doing my regular check and balances today, I found 3 things that were incorrect. I had to reach out to them and for tomorrow and do some other stuff. So I mean, it's okay. And I had a conversation with her saying, this is where I am, this is what has happened, this was my fault. So I take ownership of it. This is what it is. Like there's nothing to lie about. This is what it is. Like this is what I overlooked. So here's where we are. But everything else is under control. I'll see you tomorrow. Like that's where I'm at. So this week has just been really kind of fucked up. I was also talking to my cousin, who love her to death, and I'm not even sure if she's looking right now, but her husband.
Not the one who said fuck you.
No.
No.
Her husband, prostate cancer at a very far and advanced stage. They're basically looking at 5 to 8 years and, all types of stuff. And so, on top of her issues, on top of everything else, life is still moving. So she has her daughter that's still in college. Right. She had to drive to Philadelphia for a birthday party. And so she sent me a picture of her sitting there at the birthday party for her niece with a drink. And she's like, I am trying to smile and keep a straight face right now. Right. And I was like, oh, girl, I understand.
Trust
and
me.
Look, I get it. Life goes on. And after all of that, on top of everything else, while we're having conversations and we were just catching up and showing what was, and letting each other know what's going on, she wound up being like the guardian angel or like the saving grace for me to actually be able to finish doing whatever I fucking need to do for this trip. So thank you, Cuzzo. Love you for that. But it's just been a fucked up week, and like I'm just you're at that not anxious point, but like I don't feel like I'm gonna pull it together type of thing. Like, okay, well, I still got to do this, and I'm like, just stop, just relax, just take yourself, and it's gonna be fine. And I was like, all right, this is what it is. So listen, I've just had one of those weeks, but I'm laying low, doing nothing. I'm trying to stay focused because as I logged onto my account and it said you have 18 more days to cruise, I said, oh shit, I forgot about that. And I was like, yes!
We are on the countdown.
And then when I put my vacation in and stuff, I was like, my boss was like, you're leaving when? You're coming back when? She's like, that's a long time.
I know.
Yeah, girl, I'm going. Bye.
Listen, them girls at work was talking about, so we're going to be in Denver next week for this thing, and then the week after I'm going to come see you.
And you get in Wednesday, right?
I get in Monday.
Oh, you're going Monday? Okay,
yes.
So I don't get it until Thursday.
Exactly. Okay. So, he was like, I'm going to come in the week of the 8th. I was like, the week of the 8th, listen, we didn't have this conversation like the week that I started, and I've reminded you many a time. The week of the 8th, I'm going to be in LA. The week of the 13th, I'm going to be in the middle of the ocean. So, it's not going to, y'all, airports still function while I'm not there.
You might see me at this airport as I'm going out the door.
Not even this airport. But
okay,
Listen, so as far as my phone is concerned, Redacted Airlines pays me enough to have the email on the phone.
Good for you.
And just to be clear.
No, I'm just saying.
To be clear, during work hours, if I see some shit, and if it's an emergency, but the kind of job that I have ain't an emergency kind of job.
And the thing,
if they need me for some emergency situation, then the whole airport is fucked up.
Right.
Because I am not the bitch to call when some shit go wrong. That's not my function for the airlines.
Wait a minute. So I didn't go into work on Monday because of the nonsense with the disruption of traffic and all that, the parade and the protests and all that stuff. So I was like, I'm not going into town. My phone rang at 8:30 in the morning. It was my boss who was asking me a question of where's the list for this particular.
Like, girl,
I was like, I am off. Like, and I love her to death, but I was like, girl, I am off, and you're asking me for the. So, but then it dawned on me, she doesn't know how to work the system. She has no idea of how to actually get into this computer system and actually pull up the roster for it. And I was like, the last roster that I have is actually on my desk.
Did she call you or she texted you or emailed you?
No, she called me.
Oh, I was going to say, because she emailed you, she'd be like, I didn't see the email.
No, she called me. My email, my work email, although I can probably access it through MSN, but I'm not doing, and I've told her, I'm not doing that. When I started here, you all, because I left from one office to the next, that phone that I had, it went with it. So guess what? This position, I don't do anything. That's not in my pay grade. And the fact that I interviewed for the other position that actually has the phone, great, good for him, because he always answers email, my coworker. That's great, that's wonderful. But that's not in my job description. That's not what I do.
Boom.
And I love him for it, but hey. But anyway, it's been a fucked up week. How was your week been?
I have two pieces of advice. One, before you leave, you make sure that facility knows that she is not to leave that facility under no circumstances. And if you can do it, she's not to be alone with any of them people.
They don't know I'm leaving yet, but I'm going to have to explain to them because I don't want them to call me about anything or any other nonsense.
Well, you need to designate somebody that you trust.
Right, I already have
like
that
your
set
cousin
up.
or something.
I already had that set up. Right.
Okay.
So we on the same page.
B, you know what this is all about. And I've said
I-
this to you before. Nothing, I'm going to use some language. Nothing gets niggas excited more than the prospect of some money or some property that they didn't have to work for. And we've already talked about the fact that what you're doing with your mama's house and you're trying to let that go and how these hoes was going to buy it and they ain't got their shit together and everything. And so they trying to get everything under their name so they can take over Miss Mary's house and live there for free. And, they thinking, listen, I have listened to you talk about this. Listen, we are the same age. I know exactly how this goes. Your uncle is the same age as my uncles, and they always trying to pull a stunt or a scheme or something. When my grandfather died, they didn't report that he had died for 3 fucking years so that they could keep living in the house. Because, listen, my grandfather bought this house in 1971. It was the mortgage on it was like $420 for this 3,000 square foot house in Capitol Heights and shit, so because if you had to put it in their name, that mortgage would have gone away and they would have had to pay for 3,000 square foot at the going rate.
Probably
at
somewhere
that
like
time.
$2,000 a month.
Right. And, so it was all of this foolishness or whatever. And anyway, so that was a mess. So those are my 2 pieces of advice.
Yeah.
Whenever they say it's about your mama, don't feel like, there is no altruism here. That doesn't mean that your uncle doesn't love his sister.
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
not suggesting that.
No.
I am saying that there is a great deal of self-interest in this.
And the other piece of this is,
And this is
the other piece of this is when my interactions with them, I realize that they both become 6 or 7 or 8-year-old kids when it comes to their sister. Like that's how they're acting. Like they're like,
oh, because is she the oldest?
She is the oldest girl.
Okay.
But one older and one younger. So that's how this rolls.
Right.
Yeah. So listen, I get it. They want to protect her. They all, they want to be, I'm the big brother.
Yeah, but they try to protect you from her
their
fucking
interest is
son.
her, and I'm like, okay, well.
Nah, bro. If they were really interested, listen, I'm on your side, and we could talk just like we could talk about my father and his uncle forever. If they had really been interested when she was living in Philadelphia, and you were like,
weren't you there?
Right, when you were like, well, hey, can you take your sister to this appointment, whatever? Everybody was ghost. People's phone didn't work. No one was home. No one was available.
But yet,
they
drove up.
Right,
took off time from work to drive
and
up.
So then you were like, well, fine. Since y'all gonna do, I'm gonna take her down, put her down here where she's closer to me. And then everybody said, well, we'll never get to see her. Well, you never saw her when she was there, right down the street.
So let's analyze this. There are 7 people. 7 people. One of them is not even a family member that may go and see her. I'm going to give him credit as a he will definitely go and see her. The cousin that just said fuck you, she's not going to go see her.
Right.
Because she has a daughter and she works and everything else. My other cousin who came down to visit me, her and her sister, she does the same exact thing and cares for her. I mean, it cares for someone that has the same issues that she has.
Right.
So she's not going to go see her. But, according to the Bible and her church and what she does, it's all about, checking in with people. But she's not going to go see her.
Right.
My other cousin who came down with her sister, they haven't really spoken in 11 years. So that relationship, while she's not mad and neither one of them are mad, we can count that out because she's not doing that.
Right.
The aunt, she takes care of my grandmother. So we already know that that's out. The uncle, which is the one who did this POA stuff, great. You want to put her some other place? Okay, great, that's fine. But remember, you can't drive at night, so you can't go see her at night. Because you said you can't see at night, right? That's what you said. You said you can't see at night.
Which is why you could never come take her to appointments or do anything that was anytime after dusk.
And the other uncle that's down here that's now 35 minutes away from her, he
Mm-hmm.
never comes home. So out of these 7 people, you have one that
Right.
may go and see her
Right.
on a regular basis. And he is not even a relation to her and will stop by and call her on a regular. I'm going to give him that.
Right. So
But anyway.
we know that on some level this is entertaining to all of you, and that's fine. But this is also,
This is
I mean,
life
there
and some
are
real bullshit.
There are a lot of people who are our age, slightly older, slightly younger, and in some cases significantly younger. One of the unfortunate things is that we're all going to, at some point, not all, but there is a strong chance that
Possibility.
you will have to take care of a relative.
Yes.
They may not have dementia. My father never had dementia, but he was just a cranky old man who never got over the fact that his marriage didn't work out. So he just let himself go and was slowly killing himself. Your mother or father or aunt or uncle or grandparent might be different, but you're going to have to deal with this. So learn from what we're going through. Listen, if it falls to you to take care of that person,
Please.
treat it as an honor. Do not treat it as a burden, because whoever it was that you're being asked to take care of sacrificed tons of shit for you. They could have been on cruises. They could have been doing all kinds of shit. And so now they need you to take care of them when they're helpless, just like they took care of your ass when you was helpless. So that's 1. 2, get all your shit together.
Please
if
get
you
your
need a
documentation
power of
and
attorney
your paperwork
and
get
the
that shit while they are lucid. And,
it's a difficult conversation. Have the
that
conversation
now
about what they want to do when
how
they
they
die.
want to do it, when they want to do it, who should be your alternatives, and
Right.
talk about that openly amongst the family,
Right.
and document it with a lawyer.
Exactly.
That's once you do that, everybody's on the same page. So all the arguments and stuff can start ahead of time.
Right.
That's it.
And as far as, listen, most funeral homes, while they're alive, you can pay on something. You can pay like $20, $30 a month or whatever, pay it out of their Social Security or their retirement or whatever, so that you would at least be halfway or 3/4 or all the way paid when they die. And then the benefit of that is that you already know exactly what it is they want. They've already paid.
Everything
And first
is
of all,
laid the fuck
if
out.
let's say you do that now and your grandparent doesn't die or your father doesn't die for 20 years, you've already locked in. I mean, I hate to make this like a financial calculation,
But it is.
You've locked in a casket in 2039 at 2019 prices. That's already paid for.
So
and they
start.
got to give you that.
Start.
Because you've got a contract that says this is what we're going to provide.
Yep.
It comes down to that. Because listen, you don't want to be like me and my sister were. Luckily, me and my sister were kind of were tight about it, and we were both on the same page. It was like, but why are we spending like $10,000 on a casket? We ain't doing none of that.
Yeah,
What's
like-
the least expensive casket that we can afford that don't have him looking like Boo Boo the Fool? And we agreed on, and that was still $3,000. So listen. Have all of these discussions. Talk about it openly.
Yep.
If it falls to you, get your power of attorney. And listen, there's no such thing as canceling out a power of attorney just
there
by
is-
writing a document.
But there is the possibility of a dual power of attorney.
It
That
is
a possibility.
But that
But
dual
again-
only person that can do that is either the person who has the existing power of attorney or the person for whom the power of attorney has been written for. So
Exactly.
if they were lucid enough to say, I want these 2 people to handle it, or if they're able to prove in a court of law that there has been abuse or fraud or something by the current holder of the power of attorney, then you can do that. But you just can't get any old lawyer, Joel Niggerstein. I'm gonna write that down. Joel Niggerstein. Joel
Listen.
Niggerstein on the corner to write any old power of attorney. And listen, spell the documents right. If it's spelled right, I'm just gonna be like, well, this is bullshit. So anyway, so the only thing exciting I did over the weekend, because I purposely was like, this is a quiet ass weekend for me. I did a float on Sunday.
Oh, and the thing again.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, it was lovely. Oh, it just felt like.
It just felt like.
It's like, who can say what? So I was like, yes, I still have one more in the package that I bought. So I'm definitely going to be using those whenever I need to like de-stress or just, relax and chill or whatever. So that was about that. Other than that, I am prepping for this motherfucking cruise and this trip because I'm gonna be gone for 2 weeks. In fact, now is as good a time to tell you that after today, because I'm gonna be in Denver next week for work.
Oh yeah.
So after today, we will not be back until October the 23rd.
Well, wait, we have the 2nd.
That's when I'll be in Denver.
And then the 9th. Oh, that's right.
And I'll be in LA, yeah.
We'll see you on the
We'll see you on the 23rd.
Yeah, we'll see you on the 23rd.
See you on the 23rd. Listen, and when we get back on the 23rd,
we will have a lot
This is going to be at least a 2-part episode because we're going to have a lot
to talk about.
We're going to have some remotes because we definitely going to do some.
We can talk about that.
We're going to do all of that. So let's start. So Al Brister, not my line brother, one of our brothers, Sean, who is a sex positive educator, and I love him to death. He is very heavily into
Oxy.
Oxy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just very heavily into not protesting. I'm trying to think of the right word. Social justice. Social justice around issues of people of color, around trans issues, and that sort of thing. So he said that he was online looking for resources, right? And he said he wanted to find some education on the BDSM community. Not that he can't get it from Onyx, but he just wanted to get some more.
Yep.
So he found this thing called Princeton BDSM.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and start on this one because I this part right here, I want to go over that part right there.
Yeah, I'll start with here, and then you can go here.
Yeah.
All right. They call themselves, it's Princeton BDSM, the Ivy League of BDSM. We are an Ivy League of BDSM. We live the lifestyle as a therapeutic practice, taking a holistic approach. We approach BDSM as a path of personal growth and empowerment. We are vegetarian, gluten, caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol free. Pause. Immediately I'm out.
Yep. I'm out.
Immediately.
No meat, no liquor, I'm out.
No
meat, no liquor, I'm out.
Listen, I don't even drink coffee like that, but no caffeine, no nicotine. I mean, listen, and no gluten, no bread. Bitch, I'm out. I'm out. Anyway, we have an extensive facilities, 2 BD studios, suspension equipment, a 2-person sensory deprivation tank, dog cages, sauna, jail, massage room, stocks, St. Andrew's Cross, 10-person hot tub, which I'm not going to get in because I just already know that those vegetarian, gluten, caffeine, and nicotine and alcohol-free fools don't bathe. Where was I? Sauna.
10-person
hot tub and myriad instruments, which they never clean, I'm sure. Our services include master submission training, kinky dinner parties, full of bland, tasteless food, and lectures, which I'm sure there are plenty. We also have space for collaring ceremonies, rites of passage, and any other event. We are looking for open-minded individuals. Please hold that in mind. Open-minded individuals who are interested in evolving. Keep that word in mind, too. Circle that. Our trainees are held to the same high standards to which we hold ourselves.
We'll come back to that as well.
Mr. Epic, I turned over to you.
Yeah, so here's where I'm at.
This was under the facts, the FAQs, by the way.
And as I looked at their page, I was trying to figure out, okay, I'm looking at the pictures, and I was like, I saw the little toys, and I was like, okay, this is an interesting collection of toys. And I said, okay, well, it's not much that I've seen, that I haven't seen, or I haven't seen other brothers that have this extensive amount. But I get to this FAQ page, and it says, ask these questions of how do I join or whatever. But
no, girl, there was only one FAQ.
Yeah, this is the only question. I'm sorry, normal FAQ pages have other questions, but this is the only question on the page. And it says, and I quote, "Can I become a house member if I'm overweight?" So right there, I was like, This is some bullshit.
There we go.
Let me quote you what is actually on their page. It says, weight is a sensitive issue, and we acknowledge the physical, psychological, hormonal, and other difficulties associated with it. While we prefer a healthy, fit, thin, and curvy female, we will accept others only if they are willing to change their food habits, addictions, allergic reactions, inflammations, obsessions, compulsions, etc., while learning from us. Let's stop right there. You said a healthy, fit, thin, and curvy female that we will accept. That's a lot. Healthy, fit, thin, and curvy.
So you have this Jessica Rabbit fantasy of this perfect little submissive
so that whole
waif
combination
woman that you were looking for. And listen, I'm not suggesting that those kind of women don't exist, but you're looking for a fantasy, not a real woman.
And for me, you just said female. So I was like, oh, I'm out. So, I mean, while I appreciate the human body and the female body, that's it. It's just females. Okay, well, I mean, all right, cool. But again,
and so you're only saying you
but you specifically
offer,
say females only. So
you say your services include master submissive training. So
that's not necessarily just
this. So you,
that's not
what
always,
does this got to do? Right. So I don't understand what healthy, I guess, but healthy takes a range of terms anyway.
So then it goes into.
Can we pause also on if you're willing to change your food habits?
Okay.
Your addictions. Okay.
Allergic reactions.
Bitch,
how the fuck are you going to change an allergic reaction?
Shrimp.
How are you going to change that?
If you put shrimp in my plate, listen. So this is for women. So I am only like allergic to shrimp. My sister, if you fed her shrimp, she would die.
Listen, but she got to change her allergic
But she got to change her allergic reactions.
As well as her inflammations, obsessions, compulsions. Do you understand what an obsession or a compulsion is?
An obsession is fit, healthy, thin, and curvy to the exclusion of all others and trying to fit some bitches into the mold. And so can I interject here? When you go to the pages, listen, we are all beautiful in the eyes of God.
Absolutely.
All beautiful in the eyes of God, but sometimes only in the eyes of God. How are you... let's just assume that we're going to accept for the sake of this argument that healthy, fit, thin, and curvy is beautiful. So if you are asking for filet mignon, how are you not even going to look like chopped steak?
I'm waiting.
I'm waiting. You already know from this description what these dudes look like, and they do not look. Listen, this ain't no Jamie Dornan or whatever the dude was who was in 50 Shades of Grey, who was not a halfway decent looking dude. First of all, none of these dudes are billionaires because, billionaires cover up a whole lot of ugly.
Yeah, they do.
But they're not billionaires and they don't look like that dude.
No.
So, but they want all of these beautiful women to come and flock to them. This sounds like some old bullshit.
But
you're going to end up locked in this fucking dog cage, starved to death.
But it gets better because they also say, all these inflammations, obsessions, compulsions, etc., while learning from us. And then they say, and please don't use the genetic excuse. There is no such thing in addictions. There's no such thing in addictions or obesity. As a matter of fact, genes are now known to respond to the internal and external environments you give them. They are not the masters of your fate. You are.
That's hotepery right there. That's white hotepery right there.
Now,
to say that your genes respond to an external stimuli? No, girl, that's not how genes work. You may choose to respond to an external stimuli. You may choose to ignore the stimuli, the signals that your genes are expressing, but you can't change what your genes are doing.
You most certainly cannot. But this.
You can do gene therapy, but they ain't talking about gene therapy. They're not talking about having you go and injecting you with some shit and getting rid of your sickle cell gene and replacing it with a healthy gene. They ain't talking about all that. They're talking about you getting skinny because they say get skinny. And if that shit worked, then I'd have never been fat.
And as a person that goes up and motherfucking down, and I'm still on the upcline at this particular point, fuck you. That is exactly what fuck you. That is my commentary on the Princeton BDSM. Fuck you.
And this assumes that one wants to be the Ivy League of something. So when I first saw this, I was like, so.
Are we still talking about this?
Oh, because I just wanted to get this in because I thought it was a key
all right,
thing.
I'm sorry.
I said the Ivy League of BDSM, so does that mean they pay twice as much as people do for regular BDSM, but they're half as competent? Thank you. Good night.
So, as I go on to the next page, I read that. So, okay, right now, I'm trying not to give too much light to this story, but I'm going to go ahead and bring it up. So, right now we're in the middle of, or the beginnings of an impeachment for Trump.
Our president.
This is what we got going on. Mm-hmm. I came across this very interesting article in the New York Times, and it was online, talking about why Trump, because, listen, we all know he has done some asinine things. He's done some childish things. He's done some thievery. He's done some trickery. He's done some lying. He's done all the above. Mm-hmm. Let's keep in mind that he has a cabinet that is set up, and also, not just from his cabinet, because Mike Pence is not the first choice of anything for me.
At all.
But there are other things that are coming into play, and there are other things that will be affected if this impeachment process, because it is starting, goes through and he is impeached. So this interesting article that I found the author was Frank Bruni, and it was in his free weekly newsletter. And it's a very long article, but these are just some of the things I just highlighted from this article because I thought it was just amazing. So it said, from the moment that Trump stepped into the office of the presidency, he has degraded it with words that a president has no business speaking or tweeting, with ceaseless lies, with infantile and often unhinged behavior, with raging conflicts of interest, with managerial ineptitude, with a rapacious ego that's never sated. Jesus. Mm-hmm. And... whoop,
yeah, you got it.
there we go. Okay.
Yeah. So that's
there we go.
back. There we go.
And with foreign dealings that compromise America's values, independence, and interests, how can principled lawmakers not tell him in the most emphatic manner available that enough is enough? But there's no way to say what happens now that a formal impeachment inquiry has been opened. I'm skipping through and I'm reading parts of this. Any scenario is possible, including one which impeachment redounds to Trump's benefit and increases the chances of his reelection, because he paints himself as a martyr, eludes conviction in the Senate, frames that as exoneration, and watches his fans mobilize and turn out as never before. And a second Trump turn would just be the sadly suboptimal byproduct of a noble stand. It would be disastrous. Now,
okay.
But hold on. Now, but while an impeachment's impact on November 2020 is unknowable, its effect on us as a nation is almost certain. A dangerously polarized and often viciously partisan country would grow more so, with people on opposing sides hunkering down deeper in their camps and clinging harder to their chosen narratives. So these people that you are actually working with that feel that they can come out and say whatever they want to on the sly and trying to get a little bit of base, they're going to wind up doing a little bit more of that. So just keep that in mind. Impeachment should terrify you because it would mean a continued, relentless, overwhelming focus on Trump's lawlessness, antics, fictions, and inane tweets. He would win in the short term, and all Americans would lose, because as long as most of the oxygen in Washington is consumed by the ghastly carnival of this barker, there's too little left for the nation's very real problems and for scrutiny of his substantive inadequacy in addressing them.
I have thoughts. Do you have thoughts?
Please jump in, because there's last three pieces I'm going to read.
My thoughts are the following. Sometimes you got to kick a little ass to get some respect. So that's to start. The problem is that, so you know how you deal with a bully? You cannot let a bully keep fucking with you. At some point, you gotta be strategic about it. Learn this lesson from a Young Dominion. Young Dominion was a lovely, happy, roly-poly, person who didn't seem to let anything bother him. And people assumed that because I didn't like to fight, that I couldn't fight. I was good for taking a punch until it got me in a position where I could get you. Case in point. His name was Bandrew Bummard, was his name. Bandrew kept pushing me, kept pushing me. He was making fun of me because I was in the 7th grade carrying a briefcase. My grandfather had given me that briefcase. I didn't give a fuck what anybody thought about that. Everybody else had a backpack. I had a briefcase. Kept all of my books in that briefcase. He kept fucking with me. We get on the bus, we get on the bus, we go on the bus, we get on the bus. He keeps pushing me, he's pushing me, he's pushing me, he's pushing me, till there comes a point where I know that if I get his ass, he can't go no further. So I just let him keep pushing me. Like a couple of times he knocked me down. Kept pushing me, kept pushing me, kept pushing me. I got up and clocked that motherfucker in the head with a briefcase full of books. That was the first time. The last time I got into an actual physical fight, freshman year of high school. Dude kept pushing me, kept pushing me, kept pushing me. Waited till we got to the locker room. We all in our underwear now. Very vulnerable time for me because, I hadn't gotten excited and learned to love the skin I was in, So, he's pushing me, talking about my breasts, my man boobs, and, flicking them and wanting to do all of this shit. Waited till he got in that corner. Took that locker door, slammed it into his head like 15, 20 times. So my point is, we have been pushed and we've been pushed. And the problem is that everybody, we got to keep our eyes on the goal here. Everybody that's on this one side of the coalition don't always agree on everything. But we need to put all of that other shit aside and move forward on this thing. Because they're united. They don't all agree on the same shit either, but they're all united in we hate Negroes, we hate gays, we hate Jews, we hate women, we hate trans people. Barack Obama was for all of that, and he was black. When people tell you, I like Donald Trump because he says with me, what he says is that he hates Negroes and foreigners. He says it in ways subtle and overt. Yep. And the people on that side will do anything to keep that man in power, including overlooking, shit that is like blatant in their face. That like if Bill Clinton had did half of it, and we're not even talking about the black president, if Bill Clinton had done half of the shit that this man had done, getting his dick sucked in the Oval Office would have been the least of his concerns. So that's what their coalition is held together. It's held together around the hatred of certain groups. So all those groups, for better or for worse, need to hold together. And we need to hold our politicians accountable. That's why America is not going to, there's lots of ways to get other shit done while, the impeachment is not the only thing happening in the whole fucking world. It's only going to happen if we hold the leaders in the House and the Senate, the House where we have that majority.
Yeah, because.
And the Senate where we could, at any moment.
In another.
Right. So we have to keep that pressure up on our leaders, and we have to force our leaders to grow the spines that we need them to have. Because if we back down once again, then hell yeah, they're going to feel emboldened. But this man responds negatively to pressure. So you keep fucking up. We keep apply that pressure. He's going to keep fucking up. And the last thing I'll say on this, child, he released that transcript today. Like he was like, I ain't do nothing. And here go this transcript where he literally did he kept saying, I never said anything to Ukraine. First of all, why the fuck are we asking the Ukraine of all nations? Why are we asking Ukraine to dig up dirt? I understand, I'm not agreeing, but I understand if he had been like, hey, Russia, I need you to get this dirt.
He did that because he held back. He said that if he didn't, he didn't say that.
So he did extorted them.
Basically, he extorted them because he was holding back funding for them.
So yeah, I know. I was just being rhetorical. So so literally, he said, I never asked him to do anything. And he's literally, this is the redacted transcript of the conversation. And in the redacted transcript, he literally says all the shit that he said he never said. So when we see the actual unadulterated call, I can't even believe what's going to be in that. This is an audience of idiots, and they're protected by people who are so invested in white supremacy and capitalism that they will do anything to keep this man in power. But we have the numbers. All we need is the will.
Right.
And we have to force those who we've elected, and even if you didn't vote, you still got to do whatever you.
Let's change that because your ass needs to vote.
Right.
But anyway.
So
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that was it.
But so my closing argument is on this is the best picture or thought that I have of this man, Donald Trump, is that caricature, not even a caricature, but it is a caricature, but it's the actual balloon of him in a pamper with his little red hair going up to the side. He's looking like a baby. That is the best visualization that I can think of, the best image I can think of for him, because that's exactly how he acts, like a spoiled, pampered child. But that's my anyway. On to some more positive things.
Yes.
Today, September the 24th, 32 years ago, in 1987, A Different World premiered.
Yes.
Can you believe that? It's been 32 years?
I know, right?
Like, listen, if you've never watched A Different World, it started off with Lisa Bonet. It was a spinoff from The Cosby Show.
Yes.
Where Lisa Bonet went to college, or
she went to Hillman.
She went to Hillman College. She was Denise Huxtable on the show, on the Cosby Show.
Yes.
And then she wound up going to Hillman. Her first year.
That was both Cliff and Claire's alma mater.
Yes. And so she was there. She had 3 roommates, or was it 2? She had 2 roommates.
Phoebe, was that?
It was
that Phoebe Cates?
Marissa Tomei.
I get them all confused.
Yeah. Marissa Tomei,
yes.
And was Cree her roommate, or was she just in the dorm with him? I can't remember.
Freddie wasn't even in the show at first.
But there was another girl in the dorm with her.
I thought it was Jalissa.
Oh, Jaleesa, that's right.
Yeah,
so
Jaleesa.
It was Jaleesa. So it was Marissa and Jaleesa, Marissa Tomei,
and Sinbad
Dawn
played
Lewis.
like the
Sinbad was the dorm father or whatever.
Yeah.
And so listen, let me be clear. The first season
was a little.
It was.
But they rewrote it, and so the first season they didn't have Debbie Allen involved.
No, they did not.
And then after the first season, when they realized this shit wasn't working, Bill Cosby fired all of the people, not fired, but he got rid of like the writing staff and everything, brought in Debbie Allen, because I don't think Bill Cosby actually went to a black college. I think he was supported. Listen, we're not talking about Bill Cosby now.
No.
We're talking about Bill Cosby. He went to like Temple.
He went to Temple, but I think,
I feel like he was a supporter of Morehouse, but I don't think he ever went to
He was a big supporter of
HBCU.
Temple. I don't know if he went to Temple or not. I know he went to Temple.
I'm pretty sure he didn't go to an HBCU.
No, he didn't. He didn't go to HBCU.
And so the point is that they needed somebody who actually went to a black school to lead that show.
Yes.
Debbie Allen went to Howard University.
Yes.
Her sister, who everybody don't know, Felicia Rashad, Felicia Ayers Allen.
Well, yeah.
Debbie Allen, Felicia Ayers Allen,
right.
Both alumni of
Howard.
Howard University, so she was able to bring in.
And Miss Felicia Allen at that time, she could dance.
Yes.
As well.
And so she brought in an entirely different perspective to the show. And as our brother Elimination was saying earlier, that was responsible for a lot of people between 1987 and 94 when the show went off the air. That's the reason a lot of people went to HBCUs. I know
college and HBCUs in general, period.
Because, both of my parents went to Alabama A&M, but it was no way in creation. I was going to any school in Alabama. Yeah. None.
Have fun with that.
None. But I did go to Florida A&M University, and, so I can credit A Different World directly with my decision. And I remember in my freshman class, there was a lot of people that were like, I'm here. Well, a lot of reasons, but it could also be tied to the positive portrayal of life on an HBCU campus at A Different World. Now, the indictment to HBCUs is that, and it's not just FAMU, but I know a lot of people that was like, my experience at North Carolina A&T, Howard, FAMU, Morehouse, Spelman was not like that at all.
Right.
Them Negroes was just there to do a job. They weren't like the janitor who happened to have a couple of $1,000 in the bank, and when you couldn't pay your tuition, he lent you the money and was like, pay me back whenever, like he did for, what was the black girl's name? The dark-skinned girl, Kim.
Kim.
Yeah, like he did for Kim. That don't happen, girl. If you don't have the money, you out.
Yeah. They were listen, for me, and I did not go to HBCU. I went to University of Pittsburgh.
And Duquesne. That was for graduate school.
That was for graduate school, yes. Mm-hmm. But that time frame, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing to be a black kid going away to college and to come home to these positive images. On top of, but I'm gonna tell you what actually sold me on college all the way around was School Days.
Of course.
Listen.
School Days, I was like, bitch, we about to go and party and
Listen.
bullshit and have us a good old time.
That was like that.
Because
for
we were
me,
at the same time.
Right.
That movie came out.
we were in 10th grade.
Was it the 10th grade?
10th grade. 1980.
I feel like it was.
Well, I didn't go see it until 10th grade.
It was. I feel like it was later than that.
In fact, it may have come out the summer in between our 9th and 10th grade year, but I think it was.
I thought it was
grade.
10th. Really? Whenever it was, I just remember my freshman
Let's
year
Google
of
it.
college. We must have watched.
1988.
Okay, I was going to say because I felt like it was later because we must have my freshman year
You
of
know, why
college.
I remember. I know why I saw it in 10th grade because I went. It
It
started
in
build-
1988. It couldn't have been, that wasn't 10th grade. That was
No,
junior year.
it was building up. You know how to go through like the small film festivals and
Oh, yeah,
So that's
yeah,
and I
okay.
went to go see it at a very small.
Yeah,
that's why
I only
yes.
saw it in the theater, and I
Yes.
remember because like 30 of us went to see it, and there was so many of us that we were like sitting in the aisles in the theater to see this. You know, remember that theater? You know that theater in Marlow Heights? That's like the
Yeah.
hood theater.
Yeah, the
they used to be
$5
they used to be the joint to go
Listen,
to.
I just
That
went
used-
over there the other day to go see something, but
They used to
I
be
got
the-
pissed off. But
they used to be the spot to go to. And remember, we were sitting there watching it. And yes, School Days. My freshman year, we used to watch that movie. We watched that movie at least
February of
once,
1988.
once a week. And I remember it because all of the RAs were alphas. And
Okay.
so they were watching it, they would turn up the sound, I'm doing this for the phone, don't need nobody trying to come and calm yourselves. They used to turn up the volume, during that part, and then they, start doing their chants and stuff. I was like, girl, we're trying to watch a fucking movie.
Listen.
Anyway, so yeah.
But anyway, so shout out to all the stars of that: Cree Summer, Jasmine Guy, Sinbad, Daryl Bell, Jada Pinkett Smith, Dawn Lewitt, Jennifer Lewis, Lisa Bonet, Glenn Turman, Kadeem Hardison, Charnel Brown, Marissa Tomei, Loretta Devine, Karen Molina White, and Mary Alice from
Yes.
The Matrix. So, and there were
what-
several other people as well, because there were several other.
Who was Loretta Devine?
Loretta Devine was on the show for a minute. She actually played. She played. She played not the mother. She wasn't the dorm mother. Actually, yeah, I think she was. She was a dorm mother, and I think then after her, then Jennifer Lewis came in.
Well, I don't remember that.
Jennifer Lewis.
I remember Patti LaBelle.
Jennifer Lewis was the dean because she was walking around like you're on.
No,
my
that
list.
was Jennifer Lewis.
Right.
Patti LaBelle played
What's her name's mother?
played Dwayne's mother.
Yes.
And was it Diane Carroll?
It was either Diane
It was
Carroll.
Diane Carroll who was Whitley's mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, but it was a great, and again, positive images of Black people. It was amazing. So
Yeah,
thank you for that.
And lastly, we want to give some shout outs. We want to congratulate our brother Tiger Onyx of Onyx Great Lakes, who is Mr. Michigan Leather 2020. Did you see the picture that Ken posted with the grandbabies, and they had Tiger's black ass face on this white baby? It was like, my grandbaby. It was hilarious. Not at all racist or anything like that. He was just showing it was his grandbaby. It was
All right.
hilarious.
Okay.
Hilarious. And we also want to thank give shout outs to our newest brothers of Onyx Deep South, Tenacious Onyx, Pusscat Onyx, Circus Onyx, and Teray Blade Onyx. Also, our brothers in Onyx Midwest, congratulations. Our pledges for Onyx Midwest, congratulations. They did their demos. SoCal Southwest chapter celebrated 4 years.
Yep.
And, I'm going to give him a shout out, but I'm also going to throw a little bit of shade. Mufasa Ali on the cover of the Leather Journal. That bitch stole my look. Did you see that? Did you see that bitch in there with that crown cocked at the angle? I was like, and with his arms crossed, I was like, that bitch stole my look.
Listen,
That bitch stole my
we
look.
will be on the boat.
Uh-huh.
Listen,
I won't
your
throw
ticket-
that. I won't throw that bitch off.
But
I
listen,
will not throw that bitch
but
off.
here's what's gonna happen: your front row tickets to the Wet Pocketbooks reunion cruise, you might not be in the front row.
Now your husband, we're gonna put
Your
him
husband-
right in the front row.
your husband can come right in the front row, but you
gonna
might not be in the front row.
Steerage.
I'm just saying.
Way in the back.
I'm just saying.
Way in the back.
And last but not least, Onyx Mid-Atlantic, our chapter, has actually opened applications for new pledges. So you can go onto our website and actually look at that information.
That's
and,
www.onyxma.com.
and we will look forward to seeing you out there. and getting to know the brothers. So, but anyway, we've took up a lot of your time on the airways, and we are out of time here. So, the BGK8 show streams live on Wednesdays on VoxWave.com, 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern, 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific. Episodes are available on YouTube every Friday. You can search for Vox Power 373 and look for the BGK8 show with Dominion and Epic. Currently, we're able to host a live studio audience. If you can't make it and you can't be in our audience, you can always give us a call. The number is 240-719-2560. One more again, that's 240-719-2560. And if you cannot call in and you can't make it and you can't view us online, you can always reach us on all of our social media pages.
Yes.
You can reach me at Epic Onyx on Facebook. If you search for that, you can also find me on Instagram at I am Epic Onyx, and you can find me on Twitter at Epic Onyx1. Dominion, how can they reach you?
At Dom Onyx on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/Dom Onyx, and www.domonyx.com.
So, today has been a great show.
It has been.
It's always a pleasure being here with you guys. We are going to be out and about. So for the next couple of weeks, you guys are going to catch some reruns. And remember, we won't be back until the 23rd
of October.
Where we will have lots more to talk about.
I'm going to talk about, there might be slight shenanigans in Denver. There's slight.
Oh,
because I'm only going to be there.
We're in Denver. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm only going to be there overnight.
I was like, bitch, you are set up for shenanigans.
There's going to be lots of shenanigans in LA. And that's even before we get to Blackout. When Blackout starts, there's going to be shenanigans. And then on the cruise, my slave and my sub are coming. And there's a few other people on the trip who want to, get their backs broken in. So the cruise is going to be shenanigans.
I am sitting here with my halo, and I am just, as he mentioned earlier about him being a ray of goddamn sunshine.
It's a lie.
I am the sprinkles of baby's breath from all the cupids that are strumming their harps.
Well, on that lie, thank you all for coming out. God bless you and good night. Mwah.
Business owners looking for a place to advertise your business and promote your products and services? VoxWave is the right place. We have over 10,000 views a day and 70,000 listeners a month. For more information, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
VoxWave now features a streaming radio media player on our website's front page, where local artists can get their music played 24/7. For more information on getting your music in rotation or to perform live at our studio, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.